So, ladies and gentlemen, today in Behind the Tracks, we're looking at the Eagles catalog yet again. And the Eagles were gaining a lot of popularity by the Hotel California album. Arguably, they were the biggest band in America since the Beatles. ABBA was strong too. But what this song did, it put a comment into vernacular that was common before but became huge after it. Because with the 70s decade, with the burnouts, the term life in the fast lane had a lot to do with drugs, a lot to do with sex, a lot to do with, drinking or basically doing something that was bad for you. So today we're going to be talking about probably one of the most underrated songs, Life in the Fast Lane. It was written by Fry and Henley, but with Joe Walsh as well. It was recorded for the band's fifth studio album, Hotel California. It was a third single released from this album. It peaked at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100. This be before after Hotel California, and just before Please Come Home for Christmas. Now released on May 3rd, 77. The song tells the story of a couple who take their excessive lifestyle to the edge. On In the Studio with Redbeard, Glenn Frey revealed that the title came to him one day when he was riding on the freeway with a drug dealer known as The Count. Frey asked the dealer to slow down. The response was, "What do you mean? It's life in the fast lane." In that same interview, Frey indicated that the song's central riff was played by Walsh while the band was warming up in rehearsals, and Walsh was told to keep that. It's a song. And of course, it's almost a 5-minute single, and it doesn't go into rock opera territory, but pretty close. Now, where it became really, really big was 5 years later when it was featured by the house band on Fast Time at Ridgemont High, The Prom. Now, of course, in that same interview, the Henley said, recalled that the song actually sprang from the opening guitar riff. One day at rehearsal, Joe just busted out that crazy riff and said, "What the hell is that? We got to figure out to make a song out of that." Henley and Frey, the primary lyricists for the band, then wrote the lyrics for the song. Now, what's kind of weird, there's a lot of overproduction in this with, the echo and kind of 3/4 of the way through. Now, Cashbox said that with the influence of six-stringer Joe Walsh, the Eagles are harder and funkier than ever here. Record World said it's the album's most hard-edged rocker, dominated by a Walsh signature guitar line. In 2016, the editors of Rolling Stone rated Life in the Fast Lane as the Eagles' 8th greatest song. In 2017, Billboard ranked the song number 4 in their list of the 15 greatest Eagles songs, and in 2019, Rolling Stone ranked the song as number 8 on the list of the 40 greatest Eagles songs. Now, in this, it was what I consider the best lineup: Don Henley, Glenn Frey, Joe Walsh, Don Felder, who played lead guitar and rhythm guitar, and Randy Meisner, who did backing vocals and bass. Now, ironically, in 2007, Swedish country and pop singer Jill Johnson recorded a song on her 10th studio album, Music Row. The song was used as a soundtrack for the roller coaster Eagles' Life in the Fast Lane, which opened at Hard Rock Park in May 2008. Now, on July 25th, 2019, the rock band Hinder released their cover of the song as a non-album single. Now, it was, again, as was typical for Eagles in the 70s, Canada, it was a big hit in our nation, number 1 on top singles and number 41 in adult contemporary. In the Billboard Hot 100, it was a number 11. Now, certifications, it went silver in the UK, probably one of the biggest songs in the big country, with 200,000 copies sold. Now, the lyrics of the song, ladies and gentlemen, tell a lot about 70s excess, and I'm going to read you to the lyrics. And I think it's got some of the best opening lines of any rock song, because it drew a lot of attention. Here it goes. He was a hard-headed man. He was brutally handsome, and she was terminally pretty. Sounds like, Ryan O'Neal and Farrah Fawcett circa 76. She held him up, and he held her for ransom in the heart of the cold, cold city. He had a nasty reputation as a cruel dude. They said he was ruthless. They said he was crude. They had one thing in common. They were good in bed. She'd say, "Faster, faster, the lights are turning red. Surely make you lose your mind, laugh in the face lane, uh-huh. Are you with me so far? Eager for action and hot for the game, the coming attraction, the drop of a name. You knew all the right people, they took all the right pills, they threw outrageous parties, they made heavenly bills. There were lines on the mirror, lines on her face. She pretended not to notice she was caught up in the race. Out every evening until it was light. He was too tired to make it. She was too tired to fight about it. Surely make you lose your mind, everything, all the time. Now, blowing and burning, blinded by trust. He didn't see the stop sign, took a turn for the worse. She said, listen, baby, you can hear the engine ring. We've been up and down this highway, haven't seen a goddamn thing. He said, call the doctor, I think I'm going to crash. The doctor says he's coming, but you got to pay in cash. They went rushing down that freeway, messed around and got lost. They didn't care, they were just dying to get off, and it was surely make you lose your mind, life in the fast lane. So the double allegory with the sex and the drugs, which was part of the 70s culture. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, as we say, the fatal accident pop songs through the years, this can be kind of put together as one of those. Now, this was a big hit in most of their touring in the 70s, but that Hotel California record probably sold more copies because all the vinyl was getting burned out because the amount of times it was playing it. So I've seen version this on stage more than the 5-minute track, and the riff by Joe Walsh, probably one of the best of the 1960s. Now, according to one of the members of the Eagles, I could hardly listen to that song when we were recording it. It made me ill. The Eagles song, it was a song that was written as a warning but heard as a celebration. Now, the swaggering whiff. According to published reports, especially in loudersound.com, they were already so far over the rainbow they were shedding pots of gold. When co-founding member and country music missionary Bertie Leadon stormed off, taking his banjo with him having another clash in the band's direction, the Eagles stopped masquerading as a wholesome weed and wine minstrels of Laurel Canyon. They were now playing what singer-guitarist Glenn Frey called satanic country rock. Now, let me describe why he said that, because it's almost, you listen to that, you're going to go straight to hell. Now, Frey was a James Dean worshiping Motown devotee from Detroit, had arrived in L.A. in '69 playing Chuck Berry covers, and when he joined the Eagles, it drew a lot of stuff. Now, all of which of the life of a rock star was evoked, a life in the fast lane, and this removed her folksy banjos and diddly fiddles, hello far out rock and get down funk. Now, the idea of Joe Walsh being the main inspiration, because Joe Walsh at the time was a very aggressive supporter of the rock and roll lifestyle. But Life in the Fast Lane, again, ladies and gentlemen, you had to be there when this first came out. And even my dad said, the Eagles have abandoned country for heavy rock. And this is a heavy rock song. It's not heavy metal, but it's pretty close. So if you ever live Life in the Fast Lane, this is for you, ladies and gentlemen, behind the tracks. By the way, thanks for the big support on the new name for our old column. We're getting several thousand hits per podcast. We do appreciate that. And like I said, if you can pick up the Hotel California album, if you've never done it, it is a book into what the mid-'70s was like, which was 50 years ago. Like I said, this is like the Beatles. You get the Beatles' Rubber Soul for the mid-'60s. This explains a lot in the 70s. Every artist lived life in the fast lane back then. Even the Carpenters, even soft rock. You know what I speak. Have a good one. Don't forget, requests are always appreciated and always highly considered. Bye.